Hey, seventh graders. So hopefully you remember this graphic that I showed you back, maybe not a week ago, but the week before that. The acronym, we have CTOSO, and so the cell is the smallest unit of life that we're going to look at, and the biggest unit is an organism. Now for you, what that means is when we talked about this, we kind of broke it down. So the biggest unit is the organism. That's you. That's humans, animals, all kinds of different things. If you remember this book right here that we did in class, this right here, this is you as an organism. You are made up of systems, and these were the systems that we talked about, and that's right here. We also talked about some organs. We talked about our heart, our lungs, our stomach, our throat, our esophagus, all kinds of different things on the insides of our body, right? All these things, remember we talked about that? What we didn't necessarily talk about was tissues and cells. But the really cool thing is that now this next week, we're gonna switch over and start talking about and taking a look at the smallest unit of life with the cell. And what we're gonna be doing is, at this point, you have watched a video about how to prepare a wet slide. And so we got to get these microscopes out and we have to start using them. Now, the really cool and exciting thing is that I am going to put on my, well, maybe this is maybe just a little bit dramatic here, but maybe I'll put on the scientific coat and I'll put these scientific glasses on and I'll go down the street to the pumpkin farmer and I'll say, hey, pumpkin farmer, how are you today? Would you like to maybe donate some pumpkins so that we can do some scientific investigation and put some guts on a slide and maybe take a look at them? Because that's really what we want to do. We want to play with the pumpkin guts. Now, maybe I won't necessarily do that, but I do want you to consider the fact that we are going to be taking a look to see how does this work or look for not just animals, but what other kind of organisms follow. Like what does the inside of a pumpkin look like? What are the organs of a pumpkin? And so that's one of the things that we'll be getting started on this next week. If you are in quarantine, I encourage you to stop in on the Zoom link for your class, because let's say you may have the opportunity to go get a pumpkin, so you could do that same, cut it open, take a look at it. You wouldn't be able to do a microscope investigation, but you could still do some active learning. So the idea behind, and I'm gonna pull this down here, last year I told students that I wanted them, their only homework was to have fun. And by that, I mean I want you to be fascinated with something and to be unapologetically curious about the life and the, oh, Ron is over there. He found an orange. I've got the dogs in the classroom with me right now and he's over there with an orange. But I also, so he's a perfect example of being unapologetically curious. A puppy, very, very curious, right? Well, that's how they learn, right? They have to make mistakes. They have to get messy and get dirty and all that crazy stuff. And then again, nourishing your body. So anytime you hear me say, well, have fun with that, that's really what I'm talking about. So I look forward to seeing you. You might want to take a quick check at the email, the newsletter from Mrs. Walker. I don't want to say dog poopy, but testing sometimes at NWEA can kind of feel like a little bit dog poopy, but it has to be done. So in that regard, when we think about the donuts of the testing, well, first of all, you guys are going to rock it. You're going to absolutely rock it. And we need to be able to get some baseline so we know what we can do to help you this next week. So those dates are coming up, and so I want you to be aware of them.